sharing a thought, just like my beautiful wife. And today I'm sharing a thought about God's unchangeableness. It says, I am the Lord, I change not. His immutable character. It's his character. It's not that he doesn't consider things and look at one thing and look at another and decide this way as opposed to that. It's that his character always stays the same. And we as humans, we need that. Not just in a generic sense, we need an anchor like that, but we need it in a very deep way. It's an intrinsic value we have within us. We really need to have the one who does not change. Doesn't mean you can't talk to him, doesn't mean you can't ask for things, doesn't mean he doesn't make decisions. It's about his character. Now, I compare that to the world, as I mentioned in a recent video, how they found things like, well, according to their own math, their own studies, their own science, their own worldview, in essence, the universe doesn't even exist. And yet, they're basing everything else that they do on this flawed belief that caused them to come to the conclusion that the universe doesn't exist. But yet, they still do everything else based on the same math that led them to that, which I just found amazing. And then there's another one where they found enough water to account for Noah's flood. And I've seen other ones where artists of dinosaurs just arbitrarily decide to kind of glamorize the dinosaurs and make them look more ripped, make them look muscular and like they've been really working out in the dino gym or something. And this is a thought among dinosaur artists that you shouldn't have your dinosaurs be flabby. You should make them look better. I mean, come on, do the right thing and show these wonderful creations. Or no, excuse me, can't say creation. These wonderful results of these wonderfully developed, randomly enhanced, evolved dinosaurs should look improper. You just can't have that. I mentioned that to make the point that everything in the world does change. The reality of the world changes according to the teachings of the world because they're constantly learning new things, because they don't have their basis for knowledge rooted and grounded in the Creator and love and the one who made everything, because that's an act of love. You got to think about it, or I ask you to consider thinking about it. Once there was nothing, there was just this Spirit, the Creator, or God. That was it. There was no physical matter. There was no space. There was no time as we know it. There was just Him. And we take for granted things, obviously. It's hard to imagine when there was no known world. Not that there was nothing, but there was no known world. And to the person who does not acknowledge a spirit, in essence, there was nothing, because they don't acknowledge that God was real. And that gets into a whole other problem where they believe that everything came from nothing, which is a logical fallacy. But the point is that once there was nothing, and the concept of there being something, some material thing, had to be invented, so to speak, because before things existed in the material, in the physical, there had to be one to say, I'm going to create that. Because up to that point, we can only imagine, but his thoughts, the thoughts of the Creator, were enough for the Creator. There was no food. He's a spirit. He had what he had, which was things that we can't imagine, but it was enough to sustain him. It was himself. That force must have been an incredible force. And obviously, I say in the past tense, because it almost seems to be like God really began in the beginning with us. But obviously he didn't. He was always there. So to look at it from that standpoint, before there was anything, there was just him. So even the concept of something, of some material thing, had to be conceived in his mind. Because what if he never thought of it? What if he just thought of just creating other spirits and just went on throughout eternity? Just him and heaven and angels and And maybe some of them fell, and maybe there was battles, and there could have been a lot of similar things to where there is now, only without us, without you and me. But he decided, it was a decision, in my belief anyway. And again, I always ask you to consider this and really think about it. Does it make more sense? I found out that it makes more sense that he didn't just take creation as kind of a ball and just roll it out there, and now it's rolling and bouncing down the path of time, and it'll happen what will happen. But rather, he intentionally did things, and now sometimes he lets the ball roll and bounce, and sometimes he intervenes, and sometimes he joins in. And sometimes when we get an understanding that he is living a life just like we are, and we become aware of the opportunity to join in with this incredible life that's being lived by the Creator, the giver of life, we then come into his life and we start living our life with him. And that's an incredible act of love because of where it came from. It came from there was nothing. He didn't have to do this. We tend to think of it on an individual basis. Well, he didn't have to make you, and the point I'm making about is that he didn't have to make anything. He obviously would have been just fine. He existed forever, and that's something we can't conceive of, to be the self-existent one. But he existed before anything did, before any space did, before any time did. He was in full existence then, but he wanted something else. And I believe in his mind it was something more. He wanted something more, and that was someone, and that someone is you. And that is an incredible act of love. He decided there would be something else besides just him in heaven with the angels. And assuming there's a God, he's had to put up with a lot. Long-suffering is a word that you can look at the Bible and apply to a whole lot of situations and circumstances in regards to the Creator. He has been long-suffering towards us and put up with a lot of our bad manners. And it's amazing how he's done that. And it's all for the purposes of uniting his heart with the hearts of those he created, that he created out of love. That love, that heart that beats with pure love, who created us, is doing things, is living a life in a way that's designed and coordinated with the goal, with the desired effect of bringing us back together in unity with his heart. That's what it's all about. It may not look like that. The thing is what hearts are going to come to him. Because I believe he wants all hearts. It's just that he wants a heart that wants him. So to even consider that what I just said might be true puts you on a different level than, say, where I used to be, where I was total hedonism. It's like pleasure good, pain bad. That was my life focus. That was my value system. Pleasure good, pain bad. So it seems reasonable in the world, especially in a godless world, that's totally reasonable. Well, of course, pain is bad. You should avoid pain at all costs. And pleasure is good. And once you realize there's a God, there's an eternal one, and there's a life that is eternal that you can enter into. It's not that you seek pain or you rid yourself of pleasure. It's just that you realize there's something so much more than that. And those things are just things that come and go. They're temporary anyway. So why get so excited when some pleasure comes? Because it's going to go anyway. And why get down and depressed when some pain comes? Because that's going to go too. There's something else involved here. And it's that force. It's the source of love, the Creator, who once upon a time looked out from his throne and saw nothing other than himself and his heaven, and said, I want something else. And that's why you exist. That's why we all exist. That's why this world exists. And that's an incredible act of love. And that is the character of the one that will never change. He does make decisions, he does consider things, and he chooses, but his character doesn't change, because that is the source, or that is, you could boil it back down to that. That is the essence of his character. He could sit there and just go on through eternity and be fine, but he chose to bring us into existence, to bring the world that we need to sustain our lives into existence. And all the messiness, all the problems, all the issues, all the troubles, cares, concerns, and frustrations that go along with it. He brought all that into existence just so he could have a chance to be with you and you with him. But remember, it's not about your love for him. It's not. It can't be. It's about his love for you. And what a great love it is that he has. Because you need someone to love you when you don't know how to love. When you don't even know what love is. Otherwise, how would you ever learn it? Because a broken thing is not going to fix itself on a command or even on a desire. I need to learn how to love better, how to be a better person. And we all do it and read self-help books and put our nose to the grindstone and do all these things to try to be better people, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, I guess it appears on some level in this world, some more charities get some money, some little ladies get helped across the street, but in connecting to the Creator, none of it does anything until you know how much you are loved, until you realize that he loves you. Even if you kick that old lady into the street, even if you never gave to a charity, he still loves you. It's not about your actions. It's about receiving that love, that perfect love that never changes from that one. That really indicates who that one is. There can only be one who does that. There's only one. And that's your God. That's Jesus. The God who came as that man Jesus, the Messiah, the Savior. The one who came for you, his child, his son, his daughter. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the thing. Once you realize that, your life totally changes and it'll never be the same. And from that point on, it's just all about getting to know that love, that perfect character that changes not, that perfect one who desires you, that desires you. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for letting me share. In Jesus' name.